Hey guys, so today I'm going to be filming one of my favorite videos to film easily on this channel. It is another tier list. It is a chaotic one. I saw your comments. You also like the chaotic ones, even though they don't make sense to you. I get that I don't understand how tier lists work. I make my own tiers, so if it's confusing to you, I'm sorry. I just feel like regular tiers are boring. So today we're going to be ranking all of the horror movie franchises. Almost all of them. I think I have 28 franchises in this video. If it has more than 3 movies, to me, it's a franchise. That's how I categorize this. Some of them barely count, barely have 3 movies, and technically probably don't count as a whole entire franchise, but I'm including them. I know I'm missing some franchises, so if you want to comment your favorite franchise or franchises that you think I've missed and where you would place them, please leave a comment. I just haven't seen every single horror franchise ever to exist. So, or I haven't seen all of them in the franchise, although that kind of applies to some of these franchises as well. I have not seen all of the movies in some of these franchises, so take my ranking with a grain of salt as always. Remember, this is my personal opinion and I mean absolutely nothing to you. So, love what you love, unapologetically, because I do. All right, here we are with the ranking. I'm sorry I didn't rank the candy bars this time. We'll do it in the next one. How about that? So for this first tier, we're going to say transformed the genre. I hate that transformed is such a long word and it does not fit in the thing. Okay. I think a lot of franchises did transform the genre, especially some of the classics. So I'm gonna try to go a little easy on this one and only put 3 franchises in here. I'm gonna max myself out at 3 on this one because I think we can argue that in some way they've all transformed the genre, right? Next tier will be Forever a Classic. That one's a pretty self-explanatory one. Obviously classics go here. Again, there are going to be a lot in this category, I imagine. Next one down, I try to be a little bit more positive in this one, so we have 3 kind of positive tiers. I think that that's rare for my tiers, I don't know. Just for fun. These are the fun ones, you know, that they're fun in the genre. They're not the best, they didn't transform anything, they're not classics, but they're fun. Next up, we just have a classic old category of overhyped. That will be very self-explanatory with the movies that I put in this category. And finally, lastly, just stop. We just need to stop making these movies. We have enough of them. Please stop. I might get heated with that one. Again, I imagine not too many are actually gonna go into that because I think a lot of franchises did stop, so that's good. So let's go ahead and start. And okay, my external hard drive's not plugged in. Let's plug that in first. Okay. We're gonna get some classics out of the way first. I call them classics right off the bat, but they might not go into the classics category. First up, Friday the 13th. Now, I don't want to put this in transform the genre. I think it was good, but I think it stops being good after part 2. So, I mean, I haven't seen all the Friday movies. There's so many of them. They did kind of stop making them. You know, we haven't had a Friday movie in a little while, so I'm not gonna put it in just stop either, but I will be putting it in Forever a Classic because you can't argue that Friday is a classic, and especially the first one. It is kind of your traditional slasher movie, so of course it's going to be a classic forever. Texas Chainsaw. Clearly, I'm a fan. One of my favorite franchises of all time, and in horror history, it's one of my favorite franchises. Granted, I haven't seen them all, I don't think. I think the second one is highly underrated. So amazing. Do I put it in I'm gonna put it in transform the genre. I'm gonna do it. My first franchise I'm putting in transformed. I just feel like it did. It is such, I mean, it came out in the 70s. Why did Friday go all blurry all of a sudden? Do you see that? Whatever, you know what it is. I mean, let me know if I'm wrong, if you think Texas wasn't all that original, but I think the first original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the best horror movies ever made and one of the most effective, even though there's minimal deaths in it, but we don't need to talk about that. That's one of the reasons why I think it's actually really effective as a horror movie, because it didn't do all of that. Nightmare on Elm Street. Ooh, this is gonna be a controversial one because I don't feel anything about these movies. I feel very apathetic about Nightmare. I don't know what it is. My friend JM's gonna kill me because I don't care about this franchise. I need to revisit it, honestly, because it's been years since I've seen the original, and I love the overall concept, but I do think Freddy is overall overhyped as a horror, what's it called, villain, thank you. Original concept, many will argue it transformed the genre. I'm putting it at overhyped. I know it's a classic, but not to me. And this is my tier list. Remember, these are my opinions. You can put these wherever you want. You can put them wherever you want. Halloween, like I said, we're getting through some, you know, some of the oldies, and then we're gonna get into some more modern franchises here. Halloween, yeah, it's a classic. I don't have any negativity to say about it. I really enjoyed the 2018 movie. The more I sit with it, actually, the more I actually think that I like it. And so I don't hate that they're still doing these. I think that they're good overall and good concepts. And I like Michael Myers as a villain. I think he's kind of cool. Yeah, so forever a classic, definitely. Hellraiser, obviously, if you're been around on my channel for a while, you know exactly where this is going. I'm not a fan of the Hellraiser movies at all, and I own that, so overhyped for sure. They just aren't for me, and I feel confident saying that now, even though I know it's a controversial opinion, because so many of you agree with me. That's why I love my little community here that I have on YouTube, because you get me. You like really understand me, and my, you know, distaste for Hellraiser. I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm not saying that they're, you know, horrible in concept or visually or anything like that. I see the appeal. I see why people like it. It's just not for me. Saw. I love Saw, obviously. I just did a whole ranking video. Love the franchise. I think it transformed the genre. Do I put it there though? Ooh, ow. I don't know. I'm gonna put it there, but I will allow myself to rearrange if I need to. If I find one that's a little bit more iconic and really transforms the genre, I'll put it there. But for now, it holds the number 2 spot in transform the genre, because I think that it really started this like torture porn gore fest that happened in the early 2000s, which I love. Not for everyone, obviously. Saw isn't for everyone, but I think it really did like reawaken the horror genre. And I think when people look back 20 years from now to the era, they'll remember Saw. Final Destination, one of my favorite franchises of all time as well. I actually, you know, controversial, I prefer Final Destination to Saw. I think Final Destination is one of the best franchises ever made. I don't think it transformed the genre or anything, but I think it was a really unique franchise. I'm gonna put it in forever classic, because I think, again, it kind of falls in with Saw, where people will look back 20 years from now and see Final Destination as a horror classic at some point. Child's Play, you know, a decent franchise. I actually enjoyed watching this franchise way more than I thought I was going to, because I thought it was just like a stupid little doll, but I love the backstory of the serial killer, and the newer ones are fun, like the more modern ones. I think they're really fun, and I enjoyed them, as cheesy as they are. But with that being said, they're going in just for fun. Like, it's fine. I don't think it transformed the genre. I don't think it's a classic, I'm sorry, but memorable for sure, and a very fun franchise. Alien, iconic. Again, great franchise. I picked some really good ones. I mean, there are some that I dislike, obviously. I'm gonna put in forever classic. Like I anticipated, we're getting a lot of movies in this category. Hopefully that's not too boring, but it's obviously a classic. Like, I don't know if it transformed the genre, because we've had other Alien type movies in the past before Alien, so I don't know, but I definitely think it deserves to be a horror classic forever. I mean, come on. Obviously. I'm not gonna put it in transform the genre, because I don't think it did. But do I think it's a perfect horror movie? Definitely, absolutely. And I consider The Ring a whole franchise, obviously, because you have the Japanese movies, you have the American remakes, and the more recent ones. So it definitely has more than 3 in the entire franchise. And I am including the original Japanese movies in this. For me, it's always a classic. I mean, I hope people in the future look back on the era of horror where The Ring came out and think of The Ring and all of its movies. Again, that one I know is more of a personal opinion, and not everyone's going to agree with me. Maybe some of you would put it in just for fun, but I would love to hear where you would put The Ring in this tier list. Cloverfield, again, this is one of those franchises that's barely a franchise, right? But technically we have 3, although we do not discuss Cloverfield Paradox, not the greatest in the franchise, obviously. 10 Cloverfield Lane, I think, arguably is, and some even say that it's not even in the franchise or in the universe of Cloverfield, but I think it definitely is, personally. I think Paradox is the one that's a little the outlier here, but I think Cloverfield's good. I'm gonna put it, I think, in just for fun. I think it's a good alien type movie, but nothing like to stand out about it. But I do think 10 Cloverfield Lane as a standalone movie is amazing. Love that movie. Evil Dead. So this again has a couple movies in the franchise, not like one of those huge ones like Nightmare, Friday, or you know, anything like that, Halloween, that have like a ton, but it's a decent franchise. I'm gonna put it also in just for fun because the first 2 movies are just that, they're fun. I think they're good, but obviously they're a little campy for the 80s, and you know, but that's one of the appeals of them, so that's why they go in just for fun. I do think the remake is not fun. So that one I think is its own kind of type of movie and amazing, incredible. It's actually my favorite in the franchise is the remake. It's just one of the best remakes I've ever seen. Jaws. This I probably shouldn't even include and share my opinion for because I don't know too much about this franchise. I have not seen all the movies. It's been a long time since I've seen the original, so take my placement of this with a grain of salt because honestly, my opinion does not matter when it comes to Jaws, but I'm gonna also put this in just for fun. We're getting a bunch in just for fun because I do think that these are overall really entertaining movies, but I don't find them like horrific, or maybe that would be a classic, but to me it's not a classic in my life, so I'm not gonna put it in that category, but feel free to disagree with me. Ju-on, aka The Grudge. Again, I think this is like a smaller franchise with like 4 movies or something like that. I'm not counting the reboot, sequel, whatever the heck we just got. Not counting that because that movie was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. One of the only movies where I've wanted to walk out in the theater. I'm putting The Grudge in overhyped. I've always felt this way. I don't know if I've shared too much my opinion on it. I love the original. I think the original is actually really scary. But the Sarah Michelle Gellar one, I never found that horrifying, which is weird because I love The Ring. But I think it was one of those things where it was compared to so much that I just got a distaste for The Grudge because people love to compare it to The Ring. I mean, there's a Samara versus Sadako, or Sadako versus Kayako, thank you. So obviously people pit them against each other, like who would win? If you want me to talk about that movie at some point, maybe I can watch it and put it in a monthly recap and share my thoughts on that because I've had some people ask what I think about that movie. So I think because of that, it kind of made me dislike the franchise a little bit. So it is overhyped to me. Like I see it as overhyped, but I do appreciate the original and the Sarah Michelle Gellar one. I mean, I own it. I got rid of it at one point and then I got it back because I was like, no, I kind of want to watch that again. So I don't hate the franchise. I just think it's not like equivalent to The Ring or anything if we're comparing. The Purge, the franchise that had the most potential that just flopped. I'm sorry, but these movies are just so actiony, and I'd be fine actually with action horror and these staying in the action genre, the subgenre, but they just had so much potential and they went nowhere with it. They did the same things. I mean, there's different stories. First movie's basically a home invasion. It's just not a great franchise to me. I don't know. The new movie looks so bad. It looks like a low budget movie to me. Like I saw the trailer in theaters and I was like, this is weird. It's weird. So definitely overhyped. Actually, Just Stop. We're gonna put that in Just Stop. I've been wanting them to just stop forever now. And I think this will be the last one, the one that's coming out, so that'll be the first franchise in the Just Stop category. We just don't need them anymore, thank you. Scream, decent. I think this is the 90s the franchise of the 90s, you know, and what a lot of people will recognize about the horror genre in the 90s. Although I think some of them, you know, obviously came out in the 2000s, so 90s, early 2000s, you know. This will be in forever a classic. I like these movies. I've been actually meaning to rewatch them. If you want me to do a ranking video, even though there's only a handful of movies in this franchise, let me know if you want to see my ranking of these movies. The Thing. This is another one that's barely a franchise, but I'm including it because we have John Carpenter's The Thing, which is actually a remake in and of itself of The Thing from Another World or something like that. I've never seen that. So again, this is another franchise I've not seen every single movie. And then we have obviously the prequel that came out with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Love that one, except for the decision to swap out the practical effects for CGI. That I think I'll always be a little bit bitter about, but I still really enjoyed the movie overall. I do prefer John Carpenter's The Thing with the practical effects. You can't beat that. One of the best, most iconic franchises I think that the horror genre has. If you want to call it a franchise, again, this one's kind of questionable if it is even a franchise. Forever a classic. We're running out of space on this one, so hopefully we start putting some other movies in the other categories, because I'm gonna run out of room. So The Hills Have Eyes. This one has, again, a handful of movies in the franchise. If you want to call it a franchise, it's basically originals and remakes, although I think the remake doesn't have too much to do with the original. But I have not seen the original, so again, this is one of those where you can just take my opinion with a grain of salt, just for fun. I know these aren't like traditionally fun movies, but I think it's not really a horror classic, and I think it just kind of goes in the category that it's fun. I mean, can you say it's fun? It's disturbing, but it's like entertaining, you know what I mean? Amityville Horror. There are like 27 Amityville Horror movies, and as much as I love the 2005, I think, Ryan Reynolds remake of the Amityville Horror, that movie's so good, I'm putting it in just stop. They're still making Amityville movies. However B-movie, low budget they are, they're still making them. If it has Amityville in the title, I don't want to hear about it. So please just stop. Let the case die, like we get it. Paranormal Activity. This one's hard. This would deserve to go in so many categories, I think, at least the top 3. I'm not gonna say it's overhyped or put it in just stop, because I would take more Paranormal Activity movies. It's definitely not overhyped to me. It's difficult because Blair Witch, I think, transformed the genre. Blair Witch Project, the original, that is. Paranormal Activity, I think, transformed the genre in its own way because it redefined found footage. And I think that's really important, and one of the reasons why it's so well loved in the genre. But I don't want to say fully that it transformed the genre. But what do I put it in? I don't know where to put it. This is the first one I'm really struggling with. Can I put it in? I think it transformed the genre, so you know what? I'm gonna put it in that. I know people are gonna disagree with me. I'm a little scared of the reception of this video. For some reason, my tier lists get kind of popular, and I get a bunch of people who aren't subscribed commenting, and I know that's gonna be one that they have an issue with. It's just a placeholder, so there may be some coming up that will take its place. But for now, I'm putting it in there because it did redefine the found footage subgenre, and it kind of allowed people to explore found footage again, as well as Blair Witch. But you know, Paranormal Activity kind of reignited the found footage fire, and that's one of my favorite subgenres of horror. Oh, I didn't even know this one was next. Okay, we're rearranging right away. Blair Witch obviously transformed the genre, so we're gonna put that up there. We have to move Paranormal Activity to Forever a Classic. I think I can't put them in the same boat, Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity, because they're both kind of found footage. So I do want to keep Saw up there and transform the genre. So for now, I'll put Blair Witch in there. Saw might be rearranged, but Blair Witch 100% transformed the genre for reasons I've already stated. So that definitely has to go up there. VHS. So this has 3 movies, I think. They're anthology style movies, so you know, that's hit or miss for some people. I like them because there's something for everyone. There's always going to be at least one short in every VHS movie that I really like. But generally, they're not like the best movies. I'm gonna put it in just for fun because they are really fun to show new people because there's so many different aspects of horror in one movie, so it's fun. It's a fun time. Oh, Cube. Underrated, first of all. Should have had a category for that. These movies are so good. I think that they have to go, I don't think it's a classic, but I think it's got to go in just for fun because that's kind of what these movies are. They're very fun, you know, the escape room vibes, kind of Saw before Saw came along. So could it have transformed the genre, inspired Saw maybe? We don't know. But Cube is fun. I'm gonna put it in fun because I love those movies. They're hardly horror, I would say. I'm including them anyway because I want to talk about Cube more. Insidious, the more modern franchise, I would say. Where do I put you? Do I think it's a classic? I think Insidious is one of those movies that was actually really effective when it came out. This is like peak 2010s horror to me. When I think of 2010s horror, I think of this and The Conjuring. Maybe I just think of Patrick Wilson. I don't know. But I'm not sure it's a classic. That's my last spot for classic. Do I put it in there? I'll put it in there for now. I can rearrange later, but I don't want to say it's overhyped because I did really enjoy it. I think now maybe looking back, it's a little overhyped. But for a PG-13 horror movie, it had some of the best scares, I think, in a long time that we had seen in the genre. One of the most original concepts we had seen in a long time. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in classic for now. The Conjuring, though, that's a different story. Do I think about it when I think of 2010s horror? Yes, I'm sure people will see this as more enjoyable than the Insidious movies. I'm kind of the opposite. I like the Insidious movies, I think, a little bit more than the Conjuring movies. And for this one, I'm gonna put it in just stop. That's right, you heard me. I'm done with The Conjuring. I'm sorry, we've gotten how many, 9 or something? And soon I will be ranking all of the movies in the Conjuring universe, so stay tuned for that, and also the Final Destination movies. I will be doing that as well. So right now I'm rewatching the Conjuring universe, but I think I almost thought about putting the Conjuring in overhyped. Like, that's how I feel about it, because it started off really strong. The first 2 Conjuring movies were incredible, and it's really rare that a sequel is just as good as the original, and that's what happened with The Conjuring. And then they made so many others. Basically, I think they need to just stop making the Conjuring movies. It's getting to the point where they're not remaining as good as the originals, and it just needs to know when to end. That's one of the most important things is in a horror franchise, is to know when to end. Okay, this is actually our last one. I lied. I could have sworn we had more, but there were 2 doubles in my files. So this is our last one, and we have It. I'm putting It in just for fun because I think that those movies generally are that. They're fun. They are scary. I was genuinely terrified by the remakes in the theaters, so it's definitely amazing horror, but it's more of like a fun time to watch. Like, it's the kind of scared where it's like fun to view. Obviously it doesn't have too many movies in it. We have the 2 remakes, and then we have the 2 parts of the TV special series, whatever. So it's kind of a smaller franchise, but I do consider it a franchise, and it's really good, but it's mostly just for fun. I think the remakes are better than the original Stephen King version, but obviously that's just my opinion, so let me know if you disagree with me on that. Now they're all blurry. I don't know what happened with the blur effect here. What's going on? Well, there you have my definitive ranking of all the horror franchises that I personally could think of that I've seen. If I missed any, please leave a comment down below. Tell me where you'd rank some of these franchises, or the ones that stand out to you as the ones that you disagree with me the most on. I would love to hear that. Obviously, you know, with respect. Please be kind and, you know, don't invalidate my opinions because they're just mine. You know, it doesn't matter to you. But I would love to hear your thoughts on these franchises. Which ones stand out to you as the most iconic? Which ones are your favorites? Where would you rank them? I would love to know. Leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.